the challenge of plastic. At the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, we are converting plastic waste into an opportunity by using plastic waste in the bituminous wearing code to build green, all-weather, sustainable roads and highways across the nation. The IRC SP 98/2013 provides the guidelines for this. Depending on its properties, plastic waste is classified as two types. These are thermosetting plastic and thermoplastic. Thermosetting plastic objects can be shaped only once. They cannot be remodeled or softened by applying heat. By applying heat and pressure, thermoplastic objects can be formed into desired shapes, which solidify on cooling. These solids can be remolded by recreating the same conditions of heat and pressure. Four types of thermoplastics can be used for road construction. These are low-density polyethylene, LDPE, high-density polyethylene, HDPE, PET, PET, and polyurethane. Why are we using thermoplastic? The answer is simple. During various road trials, our engineers and scientists have found that by adding 6 to 8% of waste plastic to the bitumen aggregate hot mix, we can improve the stability, strength, and lifespan of roads while reducing maintenance costs. This is because plastic is water resistant. In its molten state, it acts as a binder. Bitumen and plastic bonding is stronger. It does not peel off from the aggregate under adverse weather, so the road stays healthy even if water stagnates on it. Adding 6 to 8% of plastic waste means using less bitumen. To make plastic roads, we are following the dry process as outlined in the IRC SP 98/2013. The shredded plastic must conform to the size, passing 2.36 mm sieve and retained on 600 micron sieve. The aggregate is heated at 140 degrees Celsius to 175 degrees Celsius in the central mixing plant. Shredded plastic is then poured onto the hot aggregate so that it coats the heated aggregate. Hot bitumen is then added with the plastic-coated aggregate and the mix can be heated up to a maximum of 170 degrees Celsius. The shredded plastic melts to form a thin layer around the aggregates. The process does not involve any new equipment and enhances the binding property of aggregates. Both plastic and bitumen have a good diffusion characteristic. This allows them to mix well and stick to the surface of the stone aggregates. The waste plastic bituminous mix has a road laying temperature of 130 degrees Celsius to 150 degrees Celsius. There are many benefits to using waste plastic as a modifier and binder. A 2-lane road uses up to 2 tons of plastic per kilometer. Plastic roads are environmentally friendly since they help in reducing plastic waste. Plastic roads are more resistant to water, have increased durability, and improved fatigue life. The Ministry of Road Transport and Highways is looking at waste plastic as a sustainable innovation to convert waste plastic to wealth. Since 2015, we have set the mandate to use the bituminous waste plastic hot mix for the periodic renewal of roads within 50-kilometer periphery of urban areas with over 5 lakh people. Guidelines have been issued to take up 10-kilometer pilot stretches in every state to test the new mix. To achieve this, we have deployed nodal officers across the country. The Swachhata Hi Seva campaign has been launched with an action plan to tackle plastic waste. If each one of us takes ownership, together we can convert the plastic challenge into an opportunity. Support our efforts by giving your plastic waste at your nearest collection centers. Help us build green roads and ensure a clean, plastic-free future for a new India. To know more, log on to www.morth.nic.in. Issued in public interest by Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, Government of India.
Okay, I think it was more than enough to explain what exactly the technology is and how it is helping in shaping the world. So before we proceed further, actually, yesterday we had a lot of questions about how will be the performance of this. As I already told in the first session, that we are a group of people who believe in research, who believe in research papers. So there are plenty of research papers which have done a lot of extensive support has been given to this idea. And you can see there are research papers which say that sustainability of the road, that is stability, that is fatigue life and other desirable properties are induced, and status accident reduction has been claimed to be increasing. The addition of waste in the bituminous mix has led to a phenomenal phase out of this technology. It started in Madurai, and now it's being used extensively throughout the world. And world is recognizing that India has done such an appreciable step has been taken in India, and people are recognizing today. And India right now is, our country is extending the road base to at a great speed. And we have nearly 10,000 kilometers of road is added every year. And then you can see, this was a report in Future Planet in March 2021. You can see what a potential this technique has. But the challenge is that we should use plastic waste very judiciously, because there are reports that people are using fresh plastic, virgin plastic, or plastic that can be recycled into other products for the same purpose. Almost when we talk about rural roads, especially this technique has been found to be very useful in rural areas wherein seepage of water is more, and we don't have relaying of roads very frequently. And you will be surprised to know that in our country, only 15% of the entire road network is actually surface roads. Rest are kacha roads, which are mud roads. And you'll see, if we talk about urban areas, we have good roads in some urban areas. And if you go to 50 kilometers beyond the periphery of the urban areas, municipal limits, we can have, it has been prescribed that 50-kilometer periphery of urban areas, we have to use bituminous mix along with plastics. It has been mandated and it has been made necessary. And we are looking at a very difficult phase, because right now this is the best time that we can do it, because we are facing both challenges. The challenge of containing the plastic pollution, which is not going to happen very soon. The challenge of constructing new roads. So if we co-mingle these things, if we are able to bring about a good correlation between the two, it will be healthy and it will be a win-win situation in both the situations. And there is Indian Road Congress, as Mr. Dwivedi was mentioning yesterday. They have published guidelines. You can find them online. I'll give you some briefing about what these guidelines are. There is this extensive scheme called Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, wherein it is expected that all the roads of village will be surface covered. It will be, they will be pakka in a few years. And we are using different ways. One is cold mix technology. We are using nanotechnology is being used somewhere. And in coastal areas, they are using geotextiles to make more conducive roads for that environment. But if you see in the graph itself, 46% of the roads which are being constructed under Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana are being made with mixed waste plastics, and that's an appreciable number. So we can say that you go to your city, you will find any road, XYZ city, you will find some road has been made using bituminous plastic mixture. If you go by a rough estimate, 21,000 miles of roads have been constructed using plastic waste. By a rough estimate, 1 kilometer of road uses 1 million plastic bags. It started in Madurai and Chennai, and there's a question, can we increase the percentage from 6 to 8? I'll come to that point also. I have some data also. So we'll be coming to that. If you see it in Chennai, more than 1,000 kilometers of road, NSC Bose Road, Halls Road, and Sardar Patel Street, they have been laid using plastic waste. Same is in the case of Pune. A lot of these roads are used. Jamshedpur, we have our centers in Hajipur, entire inner roads we have made by using plastic waste. Tata Steelworks, Ranchi, Morabadi, Chas, and there are plenty of roads which are now being made with plastic this waste. There are certain things which have been, the technologies have emerged out of this, which are offshoot technologies of this. You can see some. I tell you, there are two main procedures for adding this plastic into the road, and there are McRaber is a big enterprise, and they are extensively using this. They have optimized the process very well, which is not the case like we have in India. They have optimized it pretty well, and they have developed machines and setups for laying of good quality roads using plastic waste. And they are doing it in UK. In fact, probably, yes, the United Kingdom government recently announced the investment of around 23 million pounds into plastic road technologies. You see how much effort is being taken into it. There is another Ghana-based plastic recycling company called Nelplast. They have started making pavement blocks. These blocks are not like the tiles which we are using in India. They are big blocks with hollow inner surface, and they are interlocking. They are using them for pavements. Especially in developing countries, we have this potential. It has been observed as per this patent, it has been observed that stones coated with plastic can be made to bind with bitumen strongly. Actually, what happens is that the binding between bitumen and road, there is research that the major failure of road surface being tarnished or being destroyed is that this bitumen and the stone, they lose the binding. That's why these stones come out of the top surface and they are lost. So it has been found through successive research that if you add plastics, plastic acts as a binder between stone and the bitumen. So it gives a very enhanced type of surface interaction between these two materials. plastic has lower melt viscosity than bitumen. So, and the road, this stone surface is porous. So plastic seeps in more into the porous surface, and then at the same time, it has a good bonding with the bitumen. So it forms a very good interaction between two phases, as well as increases the strength of the bond. That's why these routes are stronger, they last long. And at the same time, the whites in the roads are covered because plastics have low viscosity, and they are plastics prevent moisture from entering. That is one of the reasons. At the bond, at the interface between bitumen and the stone, these plastics form a layer wherein moisture is not allowed to enter, which may deteriorate the surface of the stone, due to which the bond may be lost. So that is very important, and we have to understand the basic chemistry here. Because if we allow the moisture to enter the stone surface, a salty layer is formed which deteriorates the bond, and therefore the root surface is cracked. There are two main processes. One is dry process, one is wet process. I'll show a video also. In simple dry process, which is being used in India, what we do is that we shred the waste plastic into small pieces. That's what they were saying in the video, that it has to pass through this mesh and stop in 600 micron mesh, like that. We shred the plastic into small pieces, 1.6 mm to 2.5, and at the same time we have granite or stones which are heated to 170 degrees centigrade. We mix these, and with this plastic coats the hot granite, and then bitumen is added, and these are mixed and road is laid. This gives us the advantage that granite is coated with. There is another wet process in which bitumen and plastic waste powder is directly added. This is also used. This is also used, but both the processes have their own advantage and disadvantage. The mixture is then added, mixture is then subjected to heat, and then aggregate is added, which is by virtue of which the road is laid. You can find extensive videos about this technology. I'll just show you one video. We have less time. So, what are the benefits? As all of us know that we end up using this plastic waste, landfills will be minimized, oceans and rivers won't have waste plastic. It's a cheaper alternative than using asphalt. We are reducing carbon emissions. We are at the time, we are saving, we are also saving time. We are also, it's durable, more durable, but economy is one of the parameters, and also the quality of plastic waste feed that has to be regulated. Otherwise, if we have mixed plastics, which some of which cannot melt during this phase, it reduces the strength of the road. So we have to get the characteristics done, and most of you must be aware that there are certain tests which are being done. There is one that's called beam fatigue cell, and this is a study done by Center for Innovations in Public Systems. They found that conventional mix and modified mix means the mixture with plastic waste. They found that there is an appreciable increase in beam fatigue resistance between these two materials. Similarly, this is a data that has been provided by Professor Vasudevan, and they are, when they were put with this question, that how will you manage the economics, and they came up with this chart that
This food salad. Okay, food salad.
sorry, somebody wants to tell something. We can take questions later. So you can find this online also. So almost we have uh, got some practical aspects attached to it. You can just see it here. These roads were laid in these years. For example, it was a study conducted to estimate how stable those roads have been throughout these years. It was published in International Journal of Pavement Research and Technology, a reliable journal. This was, they compared 5 roads, and they found that, for example, one of the parameters was skid number. And when skid number was studied, they found that even though the roads are pretty old, the skid number is actually below the admitted acceptable parameters. So that is one of the important parameters which prevents accidents. These are the guidelines on use of plastic waste in road. I won't go through all these guidelines. Only I'll touch one thing, and this is these roads have been constructed by Zwolle municipality in Netherlands in 2008. They first constructed a cycle path, and then they switched to proper road in plastics and structures which have been, I'm sure Dr. Samir Joshi has told us. I'll take 5 minutes, sir, then I'll hand it over to you, sir. And these sections are the future of plastic roads. You can see it here, how beautifully the inner surfaces are laid, and how beautifully there is place for cables, there is place for pipes. And the best part is that once these sections, for example, they undergo some physical damage, this particular section can be readjusted and relayed. And it was estimated, and it has been reported, that more than 25 kgs of recycled plastic waste is used in each square meter of the plastic cycle path, and which cuts carbon emission by 52%, which is appreciably good. And there is this technique that's called GeoWeb, or we fill in plastic cells with concrete blocks, and then lay the concrete blocks. They help in strengthening the blocks. They help in different parameters. You can see it's in probably in Meghalaya or Assam. They have used small boxes, paint boxes, cut them into size, and then laid them over the ground, then added concrete to them, forming a web. And at the same time, such webs are called geowebs. They are available. And the best part is that they are almost 5 to 10 times more stronger than conventional this. I'll just run through one video, which is using tire waste, because tire waste is a big challenge. The used tires have been used in laying the roads, forming a web.
Concrete. A few years ago, American civil engineer Samuel Bonasso came up with a fundamentally new road construction technology. In 2016, the American Society of Civil Engineers recognized it as the most environmentally friendly construction method. And here's why. The problem of tire recycling in the modern world is very serious. Annually, every major city produces about 90,000 tons of worn-out tires. Besides, each of them decomposes in the ground for more than 100 years. Mankind is constantly searching for solutions to give worn tires a second life and prevent environmental pollution. Mechanical concrete is one of them. GeoGrid is widely used in road construction. Usually it's a two-dimensional or three-dimensional honeycomb structure filled with a loose material such as crushed stone. GeoGrid increases the bearing capacity of loose and heterogeneous soils, securing road bases. The technology of mechanical concretes implies the use of worn-out car tires instead of geogrids. They're placed on the prepared soil, tightly against each other. Then they are fastened together. Builders fill each tire cavity with crushed stone and then lay asphalt on top. It's noteworthy that approximately 15 tires are used for 1 cubic meter of mechanical concrete. The resulting design is inexpensive. This technology uses 50% less building materials compared to traditional methods. The cost of maintenance is also reduced, as the coating has increased strength and durability. The road can withstand loads of up to 150 tons per square meter.
So that's the trick, and these geowebs have been used. These are actually honeycomb like network, three-dimensional. They are extensively being used in India in hilly areas wherein a road is susceptible to withering off, and roads are easily, the hillsides are tapered, they are slanting, so roads can easily slide down during heavy rains. It has been found there are some companies in India who are right now manufacturing these geowebs, and they are supplying it to various government projects, and it has been found that the life of these roads has appreciably increased by using these geowebs. There are certain, I won't go to the video right now, but we'll talk about these plastic pavements tomorrow when Sharing is there, and I'll take up this later. So in the meantime, we have been joined by Dr. Sameer Joshi. I think I must hand over the session to him. I personally and on behalf of the organizing committee, we welcome Dr. Sameer Joshi to the session today. Sameer sir is there.
Yes, Irfan sir, my good friend. Irfan is knowledge, Inform is wisdom, and I am honored to be on the same side of the table as him today. I bring greetings from you from Ladakh, and you have to apologize. I have to apologize for joining late. I would like to tell you just a small story before we begin. I met the three idiots fame Dr. Wangchuk today and discussed about plastic waste management there, and we are going to do work with him.
Great, incredibly good. As always, I am honored that you are here today, and as he ably said, we have a long friendship, and this friendship pertains to this idea of plastic awareness in plastic waste management. Whenever we meet, we are on a mission, and I must inform the audience that Sameer sir is in Leh, as I already told yesterday, and we all the three warriors today, and the speakers are at the frontier. They are trying to convince the Leh administration that this is the right time to switch to sustainable solutions, plastic waste management, and we salute the spirit of all three warriors out there. And I am extremely thankful to three of them that they consented to be there. They have been there. It's very tough to stay fresh in Leh. I know the terrain, the lack of oxygen, and the way they have been doing. And I'm sure I spoiled their day today because all three of them will be taking the sessions there. As I'll give you the session, but before that, a quick introduction of the speaker. Dr. Sameer Joshi holds a degree in polymer engineering along with PhD in waste management. He has been working in plastic waste management and actively supporting our efforts in awareness since long. And more than anything, he has been supporting young entrepreneurs who are dedicated towards reducing plastic pollution. He is a fellow of the Indian Plastic Institute and of Indian Institute of Valuers, member of Institution of Engineers India, and senior member Society of Plastic Engineers USA. He holds expertise in circular economy, not just expertise, but he holds a lot of exposure, knowledge, as well as practical inputs in recycling, EPR and plastics, and he has his own plastic manufacturing unit in Pune. He is head of plastic committee in MRAI, honorary secretary governing council, honorary treasurer governing council of Indian Plastic Institute, and also an approved valuer for plant and machinery. And along with all these multiple feats, he also holds a beautiful record of Guinness World Book record of world's largest t-shirt that was produced from plastic waste in 2018. His associations with our institute have been so long. He is in the advisory committee of CPET, Department of Chemicals and Petrochemicals, Government of India. He is a member of CSR Committee, ASSOCHAM India. He's member of Industry Academia Committee of MIT University. His mentor, International Council on Circular Economy. We had a beautiful session yesterday from Shalini ma'am from ICCE. And he's signatory to Global Commitment to End Plastic Waste that is by Ellen MacArthur Foundation. And he's member of Global Partnership for Marine Litter, that is a UN Environment Program, and he's also member for Prevent Waste Alliance, that's of Germany, as well as Global Advisor, MSME, CCII, India, and more than anything else, he is a wonderful person, and I treasure his friendship as always. Thank you so much for sparing your time, and it's over to your golden words, please.
Thank you, Dr. Irfan, for the kind introduction. With that kind of introduction, even my wife will not recognize me today. I bring greetings to you from the land of Ladakh. Dr. Irfan, I have to tell you that all three of us, you said that warriors, and we have not spent a single moment seeing Ladakh. We are here on garbage tourism. 2 days we took to rest because of acclimatizing. That's the only part. And today is Monday. Just since yesterday, Monday, Tuesday. Today, I forgot the day also. Today is Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we have been working, and I'm very happy to inform you that Leh Ladakh have appreciated what work we have come in, and they are on board, and they are going to be one of the first. Where we'll see Ladakh preparing for the plastic waste free Ladakh. And another great thing I'd like to inform you that yesterday we had a meeting with army people, and the army is also onboarded for making Ladakh clean. Ladakh is a sensitive zone, and army and tourism, they form a major part of the floating population, and a lot of waste is generated. And we have been able to onboard the Indian Army to segregate its waste as wet, and we'll be starting a pilot project with them. I think this is the biggest achievement what we have been able to do in our visit, where even the army, for whom guarding our borders is more important than anything else. They are here to protect us, but they have found the time. They have found the one more junoon in them, that we will separate our waste. And I think that is the biggest tribute to our work, what we have been doing.
We are not physically there, Dr. Samir, but we are virtually here, and we all salute and appreciate the efforts of our great men who have been able to convince everybody, all of us today who are in this audience. We all celebrate and salute, and we are giving you claps from here. These are virtual claps to all three of you. Please, sir. Please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. May I request you to please play the first video which I had shared you about planet Earth.
Some call me nature. Others call me Mother Nature. I've been here for over 4.5 billion years, 22,500 times longer than you.
I'm sorry that there have been glitches in the video, the audio not playing, but the film mentions something very important. Nature does not need us. We need nature. Pandemic, what we are engulfed in the last 1.5 years. A tiny virus, 1/10,000, that's the size of a full stop, has put a break on our activities. nature. Whatever it may be said, that it has been an imbalance of nature, and today we are suffering and seeing the causes what we are in. And plastics, though they are here to contribute, at the same time they are the most used and abused ones. So we are here to say how to make a balance with plastics and see how we can make it a material that we learn to live it without using it beyond our resources and where not needed. Can I request Dr. Irfan to please show the presentation? I have weak network here, so I would request him to please share the presentation. Plastics at crossroads, this way, that way, which way, where and how do we go from here? This would be my theme for talking to you, the wise and the learned professors and leaders of knowledge who are come here. Next slide, please. Some hard truths. Tipping point. This is the cover story of the Geographic magazine that is, was published by that UK company in the January 2020, and they said that we are going to confront the global waste crisis in this decade, and it's a hard truth, and it will stay with us for this decade. And wherever we are in, wherever what we do, it is important that we take cognizance of this hard fact. Next, please. I'm going to tell you a story of the birth of a plastic bag from its birth to its ban. In 1933, polyethylene was created by accident at a chemical plant in England. Subsequently, it was industrially synthesized and used by the British military during WW2. Next, please. In 1965, the one-piece polyethylene, the bag which we use today, was patented by the Swedish company Celloplast and designed by an engineer, Stefan Gustav Thulin. Quickly, it began to replace the cloth and the crude plastic used in Europe. The plastic bag replaced the cloth bag. Next, please. In 1979, that company controlled 80% of the plastic bag market in Europe. Plastic then went abroad to the United States, and the companies making plastic bags began to aggressively market their products as superior to the paper and reusable bags. The eras of the 80s and the 90s, plastic bags replaced paper bags around the entire world. Next, please. According to the National Geographic, in 2018, shoppers in USA used one plastic bag per resident per day, whereas in Denmark, it was an average of 4 plastic bags a year. And plastic bags are produced at a rate of 1 trillion a year. That is the figure today. Next, please. Remember the person, Sten Gustav Thulin, the designer of that bag. His son Raoul Thulin told BBC, to my dad, that the idea that people would simply throw away these bags was bizarre. He would carry one bag around with him Everywhere he went and reused it. Imagine this, the grandson of the designer having that vision that time, how not to throw away that plastic bag, but use and use again. Next, please. So what went wrong? What went wrong from that time to this time? These bags were supposed to be reused numerous times. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case because over time, plastic became cheap. Next, please. And now it is everywhere in the oceans, on the lands, and in the high mountains all over the earth. Next story. Who is responsible for this? The story of the plastic bag. Plastics are humans. Someone has coined a very apt slogan. Plastics do not litter, people do. And how true it is if we think and ponder over it in a more holistic manner. Next, please. The amount of plastic flowing into the ocean will triple by 2040. These hard facts as we face the pandemic, as we face the future, not so far away, not so near, and we yet have to live with plastics. Next, please. Some hard truths. Albert Einstein has said, the environment is everything that isn't me. Look at these wise and the wonderful persons thinking of the environment at times. The inventions they gave to the world, the concepts they gave to the world at the same time, concerned about the environment during that time. Mismanaged plastic stories we see. Mismanaged plastic hard truths that we face, and the increasing global plastic consumption, which is going up and up and up and above as we speak. Next, please. Starting flags. How many times you need to use a bag to make it more environment friendly than a single-use plastic bags? Look at the graph. People always confuse the bag, which is a non-woven PP bag, that people consider it is not plastic, but the truth is it is a worse form of plastic. If littered and if mixed, it cannot be recycled. One has to rethink our thoughts and our actions of using the bag of plastics when only needed. Next, please. Then come the question which is very simple to ask, very hard to face, and very hard to again get an answer in the time of that pandemic. The warrior with that mask, the warrior with that shield, the warrior with that single-use plastic swab, millions and billions and billions of swabs being taken, all again possible because of that plastic. And we have seen over the time how the test, how the mask, how the face shields, they have from initially being costly, how they have now taken care of our hygiene. Next, please. Single-use plastics. I think this might have been covered. Water and soft drink containers, the milk bottles, the cosmetic containers, the squeezy bottles, the microwave dishes, the CD cases, the foamed polystyrene, the water cooler bottles, some plastics necessary part of our lives, some plastics which we can reduce or refuse. Next, please. Then shifting from the conventional material to plastics. Flexible packaging, which we see today, forms a major chunk, 42% in what packaging is done for the foods. It saves the foods and enhances its nutrition value and stores it. The other sectors also consuming plastics, but flexible and rigid packaging consuming the most portion of the plastics used. Next, please. And it is the consumer of today who is driving the change. The changing role of plastics in packaging, the milk and the edible oil from the bottle to the 3 to 5 layer pouches, the toiletries to the plastic pouches, and the 1-2 rupees shampoo sachets. The cement and the fertilizer bags from jute to woven sacks, the toothpaste metal to the plastic laminate. And just I heard yesterday that Colgate has come up with a 100% plastic recyclable toothpaste. It is not that the plastic industry is not doing their part. It takes time from the Stone Age to the Metal Age to the other ages. It has been thousands of years. Plastics has been only around for 70 to 80 years. And we have used it, we have abused it. But again, a long way to it where we can find replacement. Next, please. Life was much simpler in the Kirana Mall stores. We used to go, take the spices, whatever we need, and then fill our bag with it. Next, please. Then came this wave, the wave of packaging. Good on one side, bad on the other side. The packaging saved the content. Also, spillage of the content. Next, please. But as I said, when more packaging came, it led to this. And plastics today are more known for this rather than their protective and uses. Next, please. Consumer today is the king. The consumer is aware and he should be asking today, is the product I'm using safe for me? Is the product made with the impact of less on the resources of the planet? What will happen to this product after their use? And where will the product as well as this packaging end up after its use? Next, please. We have only one world. Plastic is the solution, but also the biggest problem. That's the dichotomy. Green light one side and a big super red stopping us on the other side. Next, please. Who is responsible for this mess? Gaay plastic khati hai. This cow does not want to eat the plastic, but the food inside is. The plastic also, most importantly, littered in the oceans. In the present 1.5 year duration, we have seen the mask being littered on the lands and in the ocean. Who is responsible? The plastic, the mask, or the plastic bag? Next, please. This is what I call the plastic waste management conundrum. Who will do it? Everyone wants to shout at it, but who will do the actions? Next, please. I'm going to tell you an old story which we had heard in our young days. A story about everybody, anybody, somebody, and nobody. Everybody, that is the government, was sure that somebody would do the waste management. Anybody, that is the people, thought that people could have done it, but nobody did it. Somebody, that is the plastic and industry, got angry about this because it is everybody's job that we, use the plastic and then leave it there and not collect it. And nobody, that is a recycler, that thought that anybody could do it. It is just passing the buck. You to me, I to you, we to others.
எனக்கு சின்ன பையனுக்கு யாராவது இருக்காங்களா, அதாவது அவங்க இருக்கணும், ஆனா படிச்சு எக்ஸ்போஷர் இருக்கணும். அவங்க அங்க இருக்கக்கூடாது. இந்த மாதிரி காலேஜ்ல வந்து படிச்சிருக்கணும். படிச்சுட்டா ஓகேதான். எங்க அப்பா
Next slide, please. Nobody realized that everybody wouldn't do it. Everybody blames somebody because nobody did what they should have, whereas anybody could have done it. That is the plastic waste management situation in our country today. Next, please. How do we sort out this mess? Very simple to think, very simple to talk, very simple to present in this slide. Next, please. A study was done by a very well-known company to find the alternatives to plastic. What would be the cost the world would incur to space out every plastic existing and find a solution? Look at the cost. $533 billion, the cost needed to replace plastics. This money, whose money it will be, and it will take time to find out alternative and cheap, affordable, when I mean cheap, meaning affordable alternatives to plastics. And many studies also indicate that plastic alternatives are coming at a higher environmental cost. The cost to clean them, the cost in the form of inventions, the cost in the term of cess and fines. Next, please. Step 1. What anybody on this earth can you reduce the consumption of what we consume. This lay journey has been really encouraging. The weather is such that you don't feel like eating anything. So automatically my consumption of food has decreased, and I have reduced my waste also in Ladakh. Step 2, please. Next slide. Reusing. That in lay is a good example. A water bottle made out of a different metal, and I go to the dining room, I fill my bottle and get it back. Reusing that bottle. If it is a plastic bottle, I use it for 1 or 2 days and then give it to the collection point which they have at the hotel. Next, please. Recycling it. Lay would be now channelizing the plastic bottles. Lay does not have industry. We are setting up a system to channelize the plastic bottles and take it there. The nearest recycling plant would be 500 to 600 kilometers away. So what can we do? We just bail these bottles and reduce the size and put it in trucks and send for recycle. Next, please. Some starting facts that producing new plastic from recycling materials uses 66% of energy required to manufacture it from raw materials. 5 to liter PET bottles produce enough fiber fill to make a sky jacket. Paper, sorry, we know, preventing 1 ton of paper waste saves between 15 to 17 mature trees. Producing recycled paper requires about 60% of the energy to make paper from virgin pulp. I'm not here to, promote plastic and its use, but at the same time, we should be aware of where there is lobbies when they say my material is bad plastic, use paper. This one should know. Next, please. The recycling challenge, it might have been covered. What is easy to recycle? Easy like PET, easy like HDP. PVC is a material not very easy to recycle. LDPE is manageable. PP is manageable. Polystyrene, the single-use cups and these cutlery being phased out. And 7 number, very difficult. Nylon fabrics and other materials, not easy to recycle. Next, please. Most plastics are recyclable, and but in practice not simple or economically viable. Thousands of formulations of plastics are found in the market. Making sorting and separate is especially challenging. This is the problem. More importantly, they cannot be mixed when recycling. And even the various agencies are not able to arrive at a decision on what constitutes a single-use plastics. This is very easy to say about, using a bud, which is a single use. Next, please. Single use, the main topic that is hurting the plastic industry, where the livelihoods of many people will be affected, but at the same time, no compromise with Mother Nature and our environment, where this will have to be phased out and alternate materials to be found. Next, please. Smaller units, these Gutka packets, that 1 rupee pouch of the shampoo, this is creating littering habits. Lack of awareness and high cost of transportation, absence of policies. Policies are coming, but how is it possible to bring that policy of Delhi to Leh and Ladakh? Your things are totally different. It is easy to sit in an office and make policy, but how will I implement it where you have no access to, resources, no access to transport? How do we do this and then implement it? But yet we are trying to make this effort, and I'm happy that if we all try this, these policies can come about, and people in this nice place like Leh and Ladakh, they, the biggest problem is the littering is not by them. The littering is by us who come here as tourists. They are very simple-minded people, very friendly, what I've found. The challenges can be overcome when I, as a citizen of this country, have in mind that this is my earth and nature does not need me. I need nature. Next, please. Then that is what we begin it. We start with a new era, a new mantra and a new mission by coming to lay and trying to solve their issues simply by rethinking our actions and thoughts. Next, please. Redefining plastics in a new world. Please keep on pressing the key. Please keep on pressing the enter key. We have to redesign the packaging, redesign our thoughts. We have to be responsible as citizens of this earth. We have to reposition our thoughts and actions. Please press the enter key. Resisting the temptation of using that single-use plastic and restructure again and rethink to make this a circular economy that Shalini madam was saying. Redesign, responsible, reposition, resist the temperature, restructure and rethink. The many R's of the recycling presented here and redefining the plastics. Plastic management is going to cost more than the littering cost. Effective waste management, plastic circular economy, promotion of eco-friendly alternatives, awareness like never before, and voluntary reduction strategies and agreements. These are going to be the solutions for the single-use plastics. You know, a very wise sentence, not to ban, but to plan how to manage that plastic, how our actions can help to save the environment. Next, please. Drinking straws and bags may be the major and the first ban, but at the same time, this is not easy, and replacing these products come costly, and it is time before it takes a step when it will be affordable. As I repeat again, plastics do not litter, people do. Next, please. Then living frugal like in Leh and Ladakh, living amazingly with a lot less in this era of big cars like Jaguar and Mercedes and Audi. Living amazingly with a lot less. Next, please. Future for plastics. These are the houses of the future in places perhaps like Ladakh, which are made from recyclable plastic materials or recyclable materials. That is going to be the future of plastics in houses. Next, please. I covered the entire length and breadth of this country, trying to learn the nuances, the problems, and try to find out solutions. I collected 200,000 plastic bottles and was part of a team which created the biggest t-shirt in the world, weighing 2.5 tons, 97 meters in length, and 69.7 meters wide, being recognized as the first Guinness effort in recycling on a mammoth scale. The agenda was not to make a record, but to show that plastics can be put to better use. Post this record, we cut this gigantic t-shirt to 10,000 small t-shirts and distributed to underprivileged children. 6 plastic 1-liter bottles, if not littered, can clothe a child. That was our message. Next, please. We have the drivers for recyclable and economic factors. Now, in this era where everyone is conscious, the brand owners are embracing the thought of higher regulatory compliant, the reusability, the cost effectiveness, and environment friendly. All this are major portions. The consumers also feel that the regulatory compliances in recycling and littering are doing great. The reusability is one and such things where people are not much comfortable with, and environmental friendly. The brands want to do it, the consumer is not yet that conscious. Then comes the solutions like plastic EPR, where the companies are mandated to put in the take back mechanism, and EPR cost, that is the extended producer's responsibility for non-recyclables, is 15 rupees per kg for system. Recently, there is no for single-use plastics, the thin plastics. Value for post-consumer resin in the cement kiln is 0. But if we have a material which can be recyclable, it will give a 60 rupee per kg cost. The livelihood of the waste warriors, as they call, not the waste pickers. By non-recyclable, just they get 2 rupees per kg. If we put in the chain the recyclables, they get a value of 12 to 15 kg. Next, please. These are the companies doing their part for packaging sustainability goals, designing 100% recyclable, compostable packaging, increasing the recycled materials in the packaging, which is becoming an acting even in countries like India. Maharashtra Pollution Control Board has mandated to up to 20% of recycled content in non-food compact applications, increasing the recycling rates in partnership, and actively working with multiple states to collect, segregate, and manage equivalent of 100% of plastic packaging what they put in the market by 2021. Next, please. 3 hours, reducing the amount of plastics we use, recycling what we buy, and a new vision with that new R, reinventing our plastic packaging. Next, please. Repositioning that on the chessboard, repositioning the plastics in our daily lives. Next, please. Now, this is a point to ponder. We always overestimated the change that will occur in the next 2 years and underestimated the change that will occur in the next 10. How we have embraced a new way of thinking, a new way of living in these times of pandemic. We always thought about future, but we never thought of the immediate future which we are in, and how the word new normal has become part of our life, where we rethink, redo, and react, and work from home, and consume more packaging. But do we think of what to do that packaging? It's that repositioning, and it's that point to ponder. Next, please. These are the regulatory developments from 2014. The Swachh Bharat mission launched by our Honorable Prime Minister. Then the Acts Plastic Waste Management Rules coming in 2016. 2017 increased focus on the implementation. 2018, the World Environment Day being celebrated by the host country, India, for reducing plastic packaging and committing to space out single-use plastics. And coming from 2018 to 2022, commitment to ban single-use of plastics. And as we have seen recently, new rules and guidelines have been released, and we are working towards the global commitment that we have made to phase out the single-use plastics by 2022. Next, please. Going green, Dr. Irfan was telling about the use of non-recyclables and its use in the road making process. Such things are happening now. Next, please. Plastics in roads, what the advantages they give. 1 kilometer of road uses around 700 or 800 kgs of plastics. That is perhaps a good application for non-recyclable, but that has to also be refined and rethought as we embrace new technology and new solutions. Next, please. Recycling, very simple word, but the definition of recycling is also changing. Some say it is upcycling, some say it is downcycling. Recycling really means to convert waste into reusable material, reuse, reprocess, reclaim, recover, convert into something and return it to the previous stage in cyclic process. So even if it is used for fuel conversion or energy conversion, as we are converting to a product like a fuel energy in plastics, it is to reduce the tar cost and improve the road quality. That is one form of the modern definition of recycling, where it is putting in a cyclic process. Next, please. The new plastic definition of recycling is it must meet 4 conditions for a product to be considered recyclable. The products must be made with a plastic that is collected for recycling, has a market value. The product must be sorted and aggregated into defined stream for recycling processes. The product can be processed and reclaimed with commercial recycling. The recycled plastic becomes a new raw material that is used in the production of new products. This is the modern day definition of recycling, and it goes beyond just the words into actions and having a value chain in it, and has a market value mandated by a legislative policy. That is the new recycling term as we see it today. Next, please. Then I will not cover this again. There are various technologies for recycling. Extrusion, cement kilns, road construction. Next, please. This is what I'd like to point out in some of the slides. Supermarket films with paper contamination, washed flakes with solid contamination, agricultural films with solid contamination, usable bags with contamination. That is the flexible packaging which we get, and you blame the recycling content is, the recycling is not easy, cost is needed. This is because of this, the contamination. If we get good unpolluted or uncontaminated packaging, it will be easy to recycle. And that begins with you and me. Can I wash my milk bag? Can I wash my packaging? Can I do something while handing it out so that the plastic is minus the food or the contaminants? Next, please. The rigid plastic waste we see, again with contaminants, difficult to remove. In the recycling process, the sorting, the washing, and the treatment, that is a major portion which consumes a lot of technology, lot of resources, and difficulties to remove these contaminants before they can be recycled. Next, please. Mixed recyclables again is a headache. Then we have multi-layer packaging with other contaminants. That is also a challenging point to the people engaged in this industry. How to remove this mixed recyclable and contaminated packages. Next, please. Very simply put, sorting, washing, extrusion, molding the product and the end product. That is the use of a post-consumer waste, a waste which can be made available, which is not contaminated. Next, please. This is a modern day recycling plant. One has to take into account that technology plays a vital part here. The equipment might come at an initial high cost, but it saves electricity, which is an important part in the plastic recycling industry. The machine consumes a lot of power and is manpower oriented. So if we can automate something, initial cost might be high. If we can have a machine which consumes less power, that will make recycling business viable. Next, please. This slide to show you how is the power cost per kilo for saving with modern machine. The amount saved is rupees 6.3%. The power consumption. That is how recycling cost per kg is from advanced equipment. One should keep in mind this fact. I know it comes at a cost, but at the same time, we have to see our running and working capital. Next, please. Intelligent ways of sorting. The technology is known as prism. It's a laser beam which is put on the belt, where the beam highlights the type of plastics, and it can be easy to identify from that label, that fluorescent label, which type of plastic it is, and easy to separate that bottle for recycling. Intelligent packaging, label, fluorescent markers. Time to act and reposition our thoughts and actions. Of course, this comes at a price, but this is what we have to work for, working intelligently, and our startups in India, our startups globally, finding solutions at an affordable cost. Next, please. Again, saving, it has become fashionable to say we have saved this much carbon dioxide and we have done this and this, but real actions are now coming. Then look at that Lay's and that Kurkure wafers. Companies are moving to compostable packaging. The technology is there, the technology unlock, the increased recycling, reducing our consumption, reusing, and going forward to a 2022. That road, how to go? This is the step. That road made of plastic, which is not recyclable. These are the moving forward examples that the brands or people involved are taking actions for. Next, please. This is before and after. The same chips of those multi-layer packages with technology giving the materials of future, the same granules which can be reused. And as countries mandate, the recycling content, this is the future. A future where you and me can be part of. a future towards responsible consumption and the real circular economy. Next, please. This slide showing products made from recycled PET bottles, 100% recycled PET bottles giving mineral water. Products made from upscale plastics, food contact application products being made in the European Union. This all achievable if we have plastics which are not contaminated, and mandated use of food contact application. Look at, these Europeans and the foreigners are very, very conscious about their health. Imagine how the recycled bottle is taking the mindset change and people are eating out of recycled content, all possible due to modern technology and modern ways of recycling. Next, please. India, not way behind. When we are talking of bottle to bottle grade recycling, bottle to sheet recycling, and bottle to preform. That is a bottle to, a bottle is made out of a tube, what is called as a preform. India embracing that, and companies having to meet this FDA standards that are very, very tough, but producing and a fairly waste collection system of 90%. If we can improve that value chain by giving non-contaminated plastic, it will help sort out many problems. And perhaps India will see some products made out of recycled plastics not very far away, again, in plastics that touch our water, our food. Next, please. See the recycled plastic opportunity, material market by 2022. With global commitments and regulations and technologies, the recycled plastics will compete with the virgin material, and the 33% replacement can be achieved by the not so far future. Next, please. One must at this point understand a basic concept. What is recyclability and what is recycled content? Recyclability is the number of times the plastic can be recycled, while recycled content is the percentage of content of plastics in the bottle. Suppose we see a bottle here. That bottle is having a weight of 100 grams. So at present, 40 to 50% or 60%, depending on the food contact or other contact application, will need the virgin material, or 100% virgin material at the moment in India, but slowly replacing the shampoo, replacing the other, talcum powders, or where the recycled content can be added. The powder being not contaminated by the use of recycled content. That is what we are looking for. Next, please. Extended producer responsibility. In simple terms, the producer is responsible for the plastics he puts into the market. Here it is important to, as I said, rethink and redesign. But redesigned recycling is meaningless if the packaging isn't collected and sorted out. Redesign सब हो गया भाई, अभी सब अच्छा है, but if the packaging is collected and sorted, वो फायदा क्या? Back to the old story. Plastics being used and abused again and again. Next, please. Communities realized the importance and began acknowledging the effort workers who are fighting. They are the warriors. We have seen them when we were at our homes, quarantined or forced exile. They were on the streets taking care of our environment. also fighting the pandemic. The frontline warriors with help from and material plastics. Next, please. The advanced possibilities I'm showing you in this slide. Packaging equivalent to virgin, same technical performance, product safety, including food contact as mandated by the regulatory authorities, LEGO, the mask, the single-use plastics, all produced from plastics from advanced recycling. Next, please. This is a company and this is a photo. 6 months ago, Planet First is a company I'm advising and working in Ladakh, putting planet first before the people and the profits and the plastics. Planet first, we have been conducting the collection here in high altitudes and putting our planet first before our profits and our efforts. So I am here in Leh and Ladakh to see the progress and see how we can make Ladakh worthy of its name and its fame in the world. Next, please. Digital era. Ekta talked to you yesterday. This is the empowerment of the waste warrior. When transparency is seen, that waste picker is seeing the symbol of the plastic and also getting her money in her bank account. That is the future that we are living through. Next, please. American Chemistry Council says responsibility and care of the chemical product. It will require extending the recycling programs to include all packaging, including non-recyclable, redesigning packaging for easier recycling, and somewhat converted it into feedstock fuels and other products. That is the chemistry of the future, where recycled and converting it to basic monomers or the chemicals that is going to take part in recycling. Next, please. Hyderabad की ये story है भाई. The vendor sitting on the footpath. He is now sitting in a shed made from recycled plastics. That plastic saving the vendor from heat as well as the cold or the rain. Next, please. Innovations or alternatives. We are talking of zero waste. We are talking of use of seaweed for packaging, which is 100% biodegradable, a natural fertilizer for plant. Printed and heated sealable can be customized. This is the new healthy plastic materials coming and the concepts of zero waste. Next, please. Yesterday, Ekta talked about recycle. I don't need to mention here. They want to be India's first W commerce company. We have the e-commerce companies. Ekta's company wants to be the waste commerce company of this country. And look at the opportunities in this sector, giving a digital touch to the waste management, giving the touch of traceability and accountability. Next, please. Products made out of MLP. The stools and the buckets and the items like screws made from multi-layer plastics. Plastics which are considered of no use, giving these recycled plastics giving strength, a strength to sit on, a strength to screw on. Next, please. A startup by the name of Plus One in the state of Maharashtra, which I come from, come from, and the city of Pune, where flex banners were banned. A startup collected 80,000 kgs of flex banner in 2018 and upscaled it to school bags. That is the innovation, generating employment for able, and these products are now products of value, and fashion is the new thing. Next, please. Again, here showing products, engineering products, which have been molded out of materials which are recycled and having multi-layered recyclates. So was zamana gaya, you just made it into simple things, engineered recycled materials which can take the strength, take the fire, take the safety, take the shock, being used for industrial applications. Next, please. Adidas, creating a new fashion of a shoe. This shoe being made of 11 plastic bottles. ये recycled है ना, ये सस्ता नहीं है भाई. This shoe costs 15,000 rupees. Look at this boost bolta hai ye, recycled boost. This is the new fashion. Upscaling that plastic bag or that bottle to use, making a shoe here. Next, please. Tomorrow you have a speaker who is a young entrepreneur who has made bricks. A company by the name of Lucro, they have converted the ocean-bound plastics into high-quality, cost-compatible and good bags. And the world's first dam made out of plastic waste in Sangli. It has withstood the rains. The plastic made and collected and used in construction of a dam where this water is conserved. Next, please. Compostable plastic bags, things of the future. No doubt it is an early stage, but as this becomes affordable, these will replace. Yes, is it in the question in the chat box? Is this affordable? Not at the moment, but at the same time, one has to be very, very conscious in not confusing it by mixing it with a normal recyclable plastic bag. This composting happens at a certain characteristics, and it is not if we just throw it in the bag and expect it to recycle, it will not happen. At present, the composting happens at controlled atmospheric conditions. So the worst sin is mixing the biodegradable bag, the compostable bag, and the plastic bag. You cannot recycle it. It will create more problems than solutions. Next, please. Again, products made from MLP, the bench, this fence made from MLP. Next, please. Trodat is a world leader in rubber stamp and cover almost control 70% of the world's self-inking rubber stamp. This Trodat is based in Austria, but has presence in more than 35 countries, even in India. And they made a self-inking rubber stamp using 65% post-consumer recycled plastic. That is the beauty. A world leader in rubber stamp, embracing the recycled content and using 65% of the recycled post-consumed plastic scrap to give a rubber stamp which carries weight. The rubber stamp signed by that of the signee has a recycled touch to it. Next, please. We have seen rewards for actions. Someone taking recycled materials as for education. That vending machine giving something in return. Hi-Fi, Wi-Fi, garbage bin that rewards its users with free Wi-Fi. This is the new thing to attract the millennials and give them something in exchange. एक थोड़ा free Wi-Fi मिला तो मेरा दिन बन गया यार. ये मेरा को कुछ कूपन मिला which I can exchange at movie theater for a discount of popcorn. That is the value that recycling will give. If we just reward our small actions by incentivizing as it is called. Next, please. Setting up a community collection center. Simple things in life. Incoming waste, cleaning and shedding outgoing waste. Community-based collection centers at big societies or at important places where at the decentralized level. These centers can act as a collection point and bale the recyclables and send it to transport it. Next, please. A word which has become an integral part of your and my life today, the new normal. On one hand, consumer-driven factors. On the other hand, government regulations. And three circles: sustainable supply chain, technologies, health and hygiene forming an important point. Hygiene, packaging, cleanliness of transport, and shelf life and nutrition of the product. At the same time, waste recycling, biodegradability, end-of-life solutions, water, air pollution, and ecological footprints, ensuring the sustainable supply chain. This is the new normal of the waste management industry as we see it in the crossroads and as the times to be. Next, please. This is the greatest invention I've seen. He's a soldier in the Indian Army. I cannot name him for security reasons. First plastic wall in the world constructed and tested in the defense labs, and that can bear a brunt of the AK-47. This is that humble plastic. If put to plastic use, that same plastic can protect us from the on the enemy at the border lines. Next, please. Another example, a human robot made of 100% waste material. India's first humanoid robot, Shalu naam hai uska, made with 100% waste material, discarded plastic, cardboard, wood, and aluminum. She has emotions. She can greet people. She has a great range of skills, including people, face recognition, and remembering them. She can speak 9 languages and 38 foreign languages. Shalu can be a perfect companion for office and work. Shalu is an inspiration to the next generation of people. And Shalu is made from waste. This is the waste upscaled in a great invention in the form of Shalu. Next, please. What must we do at Crossroads? Government, targets and policies, businesses, design sustainable processes and end-of-life plan for whatever you make or sell. Take back your products into your cycle of material, eliminate and discard. Organizations purchase products that are more sustainable and support those repairing and recycling industry. Scientists to go where no person has ever gone before, explore the frontiers and new alternatives. Homo sapiens, the human being, you and me, preserve the environment we share, make our environment pollution and waste free, use our strength to purchase what you need. Be a guardian for this planet that sustains you and me. Next, please. From the extract, make use of today. We talk of an era of 2030, from extracting to recycling, from making to repairing, from use to rent, from dispose to remanufacture, creating jobs as we transit to a circular economy. 6 million jobs by 2030. This is what we do as we come at crossroads, rethinking and repositioning to give a better circular economy. Next, please. The way ahead. That wonderful path. ये लद्दाख का नहीं है, ये सपने का path है. Regulation of production and consumer and consumption patterns, eco-design, increasing the demand for recyclable plastics, reducing the unnecessary use of plastics, use of renewable energy for recycling, extended producers' responsibilities, improvements in the waste collecting systems and prioritization of recycling, use of bio-based and biodegradable plastics, improvement in recyclability. Using the digital technology, these strategies to transform the global plastic packaging market, recycling with a radically improved economic quality. And Ellen MacArthur Foundation, which is working in this, setting a simple guidelines. If we follow, we will live in an era more exciting and brilliant than our past. Next, please. All species are interdependent. So taking care of our shared resources is essentially important so that the human prosperity can exist or coexist with conservation goal. It is a fight of ecology and the egology, your and my ego. Can you press enter, please? Ego and we have to think, how do you balance those to make our planet more better to live on? Next, please. The plastic recycling market in India is estimated to grow at a rate of 6.5% to attain a market size of $53.7 billion by the end of 2023. These are figures which have come during the pandemic and government figures, not my figures. So it is important to think, waste not, value that waste. Next, please. Reimagine, recreate, restore. These are the guidelines as we celebrated World Environment Day, a decade when the United Nations seeks to focus the attention of all stakeholders. The increasingly urgent need to restore our Earth ecosystem, reimagine, recreate, and restore our biodiversity. And this is not for just celebrating and talking and doing things on that World Environment Day. The vision of United Nations is for the next 10 years, a great decade of environmentalism. Next, please. In short, God's blessing is plastics. Man creation is waste plastics. Man's exploitation of nature affected environment. World faces problems. Can we escape? Don't try to escape from the problems. Solutions are many. Think differently to enlighten yourself, to escape from the dark room. Conquer your mind. Be a friend to you and to the world. Plan to move forward to a better India and a better world as we arrive at those crossroads. Next, please. Circular economy, making all plastic packaging is recovered and its value is captured instead of ending up buried in a land filled somewhere. Next, please. When we talk of environmental sustainability, what is it? It is sustainability and responsibility to conserve natural resources and protect global ecosystems. And this is the definition of environmental sustainability. Now, what is the next buzzword is the sustainability. And just before I end, 1 or 2 slides on that. Next, please. Sustainability is a problem related to how we handle our increasing desire for consumption in a world of diminishing natural resources. Man-made capital, social capital, waste, and the ecosystem that is the natural capital. Can technology alone be sufficient to address this problem of converting the limited natural resources of nature to meet the unlimited demand of humanity? One has to rethink we come as those crosswords. Next, please. Economic growth and sustainability do go hand in hand, generating increased livelihood. However, this will require decoupling of our economic growth, proactive, open, and transparent engagement with society, avoid obfuscation, and earn license to operate a business from society. To a planet destroyed, a beautiful moment in time, we created a lot of value for our shareholder. This cartoon has posted on Instagram, having a lot of sense and has a lot of deep thought in it. Next, please. Sustainability cannot be merely reduced to a problem in science and technology. It's a system challenge requiring a combination of reductionist approaches and integrative systems. We still do not have all the tools and the discipline process to define the unintended consequences. Nature has designed the universe in the form of cycles, where everything is returned back to nature after disuse. Humans have designed processes and technology in a linear fashion. We still do not know how to convert this into linear and a sustainable cycle. The precautionary principle is a broad and philosophical approach in innovations with potential for causing harm, with extensive scientific knowledge on the matter is where it is lacking. It emphasizes caution, pausing, and review, important, causing a review before leaping into new technology that may prove disastrous rather than helpful. Next, please. A small point to ponder, a real story. Nature's real lesson in sustainability. There is a drop of water on the leaf and 12 ants are drinking from them. They have divided themselves into 4 groups of 3 ants each to have a balance on that leaf so that the tiny drop of water will not slide off the leaf. Wonders of nature, cooperative behavior, resource sharing, self-enforced order, frugality, and never ceasing to amaze. That's the lesson of nature in sustainability. Next, please. Concluding, business models, embracing circular economy, leveraging emerging technologies involving financial models like the EPR, creating infrastructure designed for efficiency, educate and enhance. Let's come together to help India to spare here India as a global leader in circular economy. Next, please. Sustainability is a complex and a wicked problem. It is a difficult choice. No decision is without a consequence, but we all need to think of the unintended consequences. For every complex question, there is a simple answer, and it is invariably wrong. Wrong things with wrong practices that we have learned to live with, but it is time to change. We have to change. We have to work on that path as we stand at crossroads. Next, please. Balancing, seeing those words, seeing those actions at crossroads, balancing nature, balancing our acts. That is what I have to tell. As you, me, and all of us stand at crossroads and have to take a path which makes our life more exciting and more brilliant than our past. Thank you. Jai Hind. I'm sorry I had to join and I've encroached on Lovicious time. So I will not show this film, and thank you for a patient learning, for patient hearing. Thank you.
No, Dr. Joshi, it's absolute pleasure to hear you. So you have not encroached a single second. It was a meaningful for me also, as always.
Thank you. Why at crossroads? Because, one question, why is crossroads? Plastics is being banned on one side, plastics is again being used on one side. So it is like crossroad, coming to a choke where plastic ek jagah ban ho raha hai, dusri jagah bol rahe chalo kuch karo plastic, at the same time littering to be avoided. That's why I said it is a crossroads. एक चौक पे एक मंजिल पे आके खड़े हुए हैं हमको देखना है कि कैसा आगे जाना है. That is why we are at crossroads. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Irfan and team, for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Sameer Joshi. As always, it's an information filled session, and we are indeed happy and grateful to you that you spared your valuable time from Leh and connected to all the faculty members. I must acknowledge that the gathering, the audience is pan-India. We have people in coming in from Coimbatore, from eastern part of India, western part of India, central India, and North India. So the audience, the gathering is absolutely pan-India, and we are happy having them all here. And thank you very much.